Hello everyone, thank you for being here and welcome to the last talk of this POS day. You are a shop manager and you are willing to smooth your staff management, then you are at the right place. My name is Thibaut and this is Etienne, and we are both business analysts at Odoo. Today, our main goal will be to show you how to improve your shop staff management for better operational efficiency and customer satisfaction. Indeed, do you know what are the biggest pain points of most shop managers? I will tell you. It is employees, turnover and absenteeism. But don't worry, you are not alone here. Indeed, these big pain points lead to some common HR challenges in retail. First, you will have to find new employee, of course. After that, you will have to give them an effective training and to build a powerful onboarding. Very quickly, you will have to deal with shift conflicts and shift management. And finally, you will have to track their attendance, of course, in order to pay them correctly and to pay them. In all of this, you may have some communication gaps also. Of course, if those processes are not done efficiently, it will impact the quality of the services given to your customer, and then it will impact your your customer satisfaction. So let's see how we can ease your life with our integrated suite of apps. For the sales management apps, we have, of course, our main application that you probably discovered in the other talks today, such as point of sales, sales, website, inventory, accounting, or even dashboard. But for this talk, and in order to address the challenges we just expressed a few seconds ago, we are going to focus on our recruitment apps, employee planning, attendance, time off, e-learning, and knowledge. So, it's the demo time. Let's dive into our demonstration and please give a warm welcome to our company, Odoo. Odoo is an organic grocery store. Our main mission is to deliver high quality food and services to our customer. We operate a small business here where I will take the role of the HR responsible for the recruitment, while Etienne will have the role of shop manager with the responsibility of everything linked to the planning and operational stuff. So, as you know, in some week we will be in December, and who says December say Christmas, and who says Christmas say a lot of work into our shop. So let's see how we are going to plan our recruitment in order to face this challenge. The first things that I want to do here is to find reliable students in order to help us during this Christmas season. In order to do that, we decided to create and publish a student position on our website. We also decided to display a QR code linked to this application directly into our shop in order for the student to find it really easily. So now let's say that my name is Martin. I am a really motivated student. I want to apply for a job for Christmas in order to buy some gift, of course, for my family. So I decide to apply from here. You will be able to see all the relevant information regarding the job position, the responsibilities, the must-have, the nice-to-have. So really interesting job for Martin, so he decided to apply. So let's put the information, Martin, email at example.example, phone number. I want also to upload a CV here, and finally to give a short introduction. I want this job, very direct but maybe effective. Let's see if Martin feels lucky. He can apply like this. Everything is done for Martin. Really convenient here. Martin will have directly the contact information of the HR director, Thibaut. Then he will be able then to contact him in order to add some extra information if he forgot something into this application. So really convenient here. So let's close this window and jump into the backend to see what happened. So as Thibaut, the HR director, I will go into the recruitment application where I am able to see my job position, and I see 4 new applications here. I will enter this pipe and I am to see directly. So Martin, we just that just applied a few seconds ago. We also have Jeff, Kristen, Julie. Maybe these one are coming from an email alias, for example, or even directly from manually from the backend. So first thing that I want to do here is to do an initial qualification in order to see the best candidate, of course, for this job. So let's open it, and really convenient here, you can see all the information directly from this view, so it's really useful. You have the CV, all the information that has been gathered into the website, so you can see it directly from here, and you can move through one application to the other very quickly like that and see all the information. Let's say Jeff, there are not that much information, so really hard for us to hire him like that. We decide to refuse him, for example, and you can, of course, refuse him from here. Use the reason, really useful in terms of reporting. He will receive a specific mail, so it's really useful directly to use it directly from here. Let's jump back into our pipe, and we see then Martin. He has a really interesting CV. So I decide to move him into the initial qualification because we are interested, but I want some extra more information here, his motivation, maybe some skills that we want to test. So I decide to call him directly from here, using our video IP, of course, to call him, and I can put motivation, learning, really good motivation, and for example, add some skills, soft skills, communication, and he has an excellent level of communication. So you can gather all the information directly here. Really interesting. I am convinced, but I want to plan a first meeting in real life with him, and I also want Etienne to join me in order to have for Etienne to meet Martin. So I put Martin in first interview, and directly from here, with our well-known smart button, we are able to plan directly a meeting. Empty calendar, Etienne, but I know that you are available tomorrow afternoon. I decide to add a meeting, put Etienne, let's save and close, and directly from here you can send the invitation, and they will be also be able to accept or even refuse the meeting, and Martin will be warned about this first meeting. Let's jump back here. Really interesting. We were convinced, Martin was really convincing. We decided then to put Martin into the student contract proposal, because of course we want to send him a contract to sign. So I put Martin directly here, and from here we will be able to directly create an employee. In one click it's already done, so really useful. And what I want to do also from here is to sign to ask Martin to sign his contract, student contract. So I can use the sign application to select the contract, ask Martin as an employee, and send it directly from here. Martin will be able to fill in the information. He will also be able to sign it directly here, and I will also have to sign it, of course, because I am the HR director. So let's say Martin just signed his contract. We will receive a mail as HR director, but I will also have a signature request directly into my notification in order to sign it myself. So we both signed the contract. Martin is hired. So I will just update some information about Martin on his employee, the coach, for example. It will be Etienne. Some work information, because of course Etienne needs this information in order to manage the planning. For example, the working hour. Martin will only work on Tuesday and Thursday, and the role, Martin will work in the case 1. I can save it, and that's it. Martin is just hired very quickly, very fast. Now, if you remember the challenges that we expressed, we also want Martin to be onboarded, of course. So Odoo suggests to us, and Odoo recommend to us to set up an onboarding plan. So let's try it. Select the onboarding, the due date, let's say today, because we want to be very fast. And we have 2 activities planned. We can put more or less, but up to you. But here I want to send a welcome email plus a link to the onboarding, and I want, of course, Etienne to plan the first shift and the first day at the shop. So I will mark mine as done. I will send an email directly from here. We can automate it, of course, but here I decide to do it manually using our email template. So Odoo will automatically take the information, really useful and convenient here, and I will be able to send this link. So dear Martin, your manager Etienne, with all the relevant information, and finally the link to the onboarding. From here, Martin will access all very interesting information in order to train him, very long onboarding, really cool. And I will also be able to track the progression of Martin to be sure that Martin is fully ready for Etienne. So my responsibility was to hire a student, to train him. So at my part, it's okay. Time for Etienne to shine and to manage the planning of Martin. So I will, of course, log out and give the floor to Etienne.
Thank you, Thibaut. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. So today I will play the role of Etienne, the shop manager. And as a shop manager, one of my main pain points, one of my main difficulty is indeed to plan the shift for my employees. But first, I would like you to imagine that just for a minute, I'm not Etienne, the shop manager, but I am Bernard, who's an employee in our company. So I will connect to the version of the database of Bernard. The password is Azerty, don't tell anyone please. And now I am here in our database in the version of Bernard of our database. I jump here in the time off module, and here, as you can see, Bernard still have 5 days available of paid time off, but those days have a validity date and they are valid only until the end of the year, and 13 days of extra legal time off, and those days have no maximum validity date, so we could say they are valid forever. Here, I know Bernard really needs a day off, so he will request a time off on the 14th of November, next week, and of course he will select the time off type, paid time off, since those have a maximum validity date. The duration is 1 day, save, and okay, that's perfect for our employee Bernard. I can log Bernard out. Now I will jump in the database as Etienne, the shop manager. The password is still the same. We are in a demo. And here I am in my version of the database. As you can see, I have more module than Bernard in this database. Why? Because I have simply more access rights than Bernard. You can also see that here I have 3 activities, 2 activities actually. I had 3 messages, I'm sorry. One on the employee module. Let's go to see what it is. Martin. Yes, right, I remember we just hired Martin, this new student, and I have an activity for today, plan shift, and the first day at the shop. Okay, nice. We'll do it a little bit later. And then the second activity was in the time of module. And here I can see that Bernard requested a time off on the 14th of November. Okay, since I'm the shop manager, I can approve it. And here I will also validate it. In some companies, you would like to have a 2-level approval, for instance, with the shop manager who will approve the leave, and then the HR director who will validate it. Here, we want to be fast, so I approve and validate it myself. However, I also see here that Karine asked a leave for 3 days, beginning of December, and I'm really sorry, but I told her this wasn't possible this year to have a leave at the very beginning of December. So for this time, I will need to refuse it. Okay, now that is done, I will jump in the planning module. So I use this shortcut and type PL Anning and jump in the planning. And here I see that I think I have a problem indeed, because Pierre-Paul has turned red. Why? Because as you can see here, in his agenda, he should work 44 hours unless his contract agreed only on 40 hours a week. So we should do something with it. On top of it, as you can see here, we have those two red triangles in the upper left side of those shifts, which means we have a problem. Let's see what it is. I have one other shift in conflict, of course, since I have two shifts for Pierre-Paul, I'm sorry, beginning at 8 a.m. I will then just move this shift in the agenda of Isabelle, and now every employee has turned green, and this is perfect for this week. I will then go next week because I want to plan the shift for next week, and I will first add a first shift from 8 to 12. Case 1, I will repeat the shift, let's say every day for 5 times, from Monday to Friday, of course. I save it, and I have just created 5 new open shifts. Then I will add a new one for the afternoon from 1 to 5 p.m. Also case 1. I won't repeat it since, just save it, since I want to show you a new feature that is really nice. Just by clicking on Control and drag and drop some shifts, you can duplicate them from Monday until Friday super easily. Now I could assign all those open shifts manually to my employees. However, we also have a new feature which is the auto plan, which is super convenient. Here I click on auto plan, and Odoo auto plan actually and planned and assigned all the shifts to my different employees, taking into consideration, of course, the role of the employee, their working hours, and their days off. You can see here, for instance, Martin, that we just hired, doesn't work on Monday and Wednesday, so of course he doesn't have any shift on Monday and Wednesday. Perfect. Now that it has been done, I can publish those shifts to tell my employees what is their agenda for next week. I publish and send, and here the schedule was successfully sent to my employees. Now what happens? If our employee has an internal access to our database, he can access this module of planning and see his planning for next week in the module. However, if, for instance, Martin doesn't have an internal access to our database, that's not a problem. He can still access this information, his agenda, but not on the database itself, on the front end of Odoo, on the portal. I will show it to you here just by going here in the settings to show you the email Martin just received. Here, you remember the email address of Martin, email at example.example. And Martin just received this very nice email with a link, and on this thing he can find his agenda back on the front end without being an internal user, so this is completely for free. Here, nice new feature too, he can go on this shift and ask to switch this shift, and now this shift is in the unwanted shifts that are available, so every other employee can take this one if they want. Here we will just cancel this one as this is just for testing. Okay, last thing that I would like to show you in the planning app, if for the case of Karine. Karine is someone who worked in our company forever, maybe for 40 years, I don't know exactly, but she doesn't want to have anything to do with laptops, doesn't want to have anything to do with email address, internet. That's not for her. That's why we can still, in Odoo, go here in the list view, group it by resource here, and we will print the planning of Karine just for her. Here I click on print, I print the planning, and Odoo will generate a nice PDF that I can print and share to Karine, so she has a paper copy of her agenda for next week. Okay, last but not least, I would like to show you very quickly our attendance module, because here we plan the shift, our employees were able to access those shifts, their agenda, ask switching, but we don't know exactly what is the time recorded by our employee. That's why at Odoo we have this nice attendance module, and this attendance module allows you to do some reporting very nicely. You can change the different measure. Here we see, for instance, the work hour last week and this week for our employees. You can switch from chart to chart, even insert this data in a spreadsheet, or if you want, in a pivot table, just to make this data work and have a nice idea of how much time did your employee really work. How does it work for your employee? We have the kiosk mode that I show you right now. This kiosk mode, you can put it on a laptop, on a tablet. You can also use a barcode scanner, so your employee can check in and check out using their badge, or a little bit easier, they can also identify manually, for instance for Karine, and she has a PIN code which is 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and now Karine just checked in. Okay, let's take a breath now, because I would like to understand a little bit what we did today. The goal of this talk was to help you to improve your staff management processes through our integrated suite of apps, through Odoo, of course. We used mainly 5 apps today for this talk. The first one was the recruitment app, where candidates can really easily apply to some jobs on our website. Then we can follow the recruitment on our database, and in the end, we can also create the employee form very easily on our database. Then we smooth the onboarding. Indeed, every newcomer has received a link with an online onboarding with valuable information that they can access at any time. Then we saw the time off. You remember with Bernard who took a time off that I was able to approve and then validate. And this time off was reflected in the planning where I was able to create new shifts, to assign them, to use this auto plan new feature, super nice. Then Martin, who is not a user of our database, could access his planning, use the agenda, ask for switch his shift. And in the end, last but not least, we went to the attendance module where you can track very easily and do reporting with the attendance of your employee. To conclude, I'm really convinced that if you use Odoo, it will be really easy to manage your staff shift, your staff planning, and in the end it will be also reflected for your customer, and it will of course increase your customer satisfaction. So thank you for joining this talk, and if you have any questions, we'll see it together and try to answer them. Okay, we don't have any questions for now, I think.
There are some questions? Okay, thank you. It was a great talk. I was following the steps for Martin and hoping for him, and Bernard was great. So unfortunately, we don't have any question for now. So I invite every listener to ask questions if they have one. I had one specific about the planning app.
Yeah.
You showed the auto plan feature.
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible to add criterions on this, or and also is it possible to reshuffle if you're not satisfied with the first thing that Odoo is showing you?
You could actually use this workaround to reshuffle and just put the different shifts you assigned in the open shifts and do it again. That might be a possibility. Concerning the first part of your question, actually you can play with the different roles of employees. So this is really on the role that employees should do, that you will set up how the auto plan function will work. Okay.
I see that there is a question coming, so I will let the writer.
But maybe if you have other questions, feel free to contact us after this presentation. My email address is ehl@odoo.com, so do not hesitate to contact us.
Or DBT.
Or dbt@odoo.com, indeed.
Or you can come to the booth. right there in order to ask some questions.
The question is about the kiosk mode. It looks a bit weird, and is it in the past? Is it the same display, or has it changed in 17? Could you tell me more about
The
that?
same display that you have
Yeah,
seen right now.
that's exactly the display that we showed. Actually, this is a screen where you can just badge either with a scanner or with a front or back camera, for instance, of your tablet.
Normally, you can also use RFID in order to scan a badge.
Indeed.
Maybe there is then no screen, just a RFID scanner, so you can use it. And
Okay.
it will be more-
I have another question. Is project-related activities a good option to use temporary employees given paid access to Odoo? And how to assign them to projects?
I am not sure I understand the question well.
Project-related activities are good options to use temporary employees.
I don't really understand why it should be project related. Maybe you understand the question better.
Maybe external
Yeah,
resources?
The thing is, you don't need to work, especially with projects, because we didn't work with a project today. However, it is possible indeed to only with an email address to give this front-end access for the agenda of your employees, and this is indeed for free since you don't have to pay for an internal user. So I really think it depends on the functionality that you will give to your employee, that you need to give to your employee, if it's sufficient or not.
Actually, Martin, that we just hired, was temporary. It was temporary. We didn't have to pay for any user, for extra user. We just created a new resources and we added. You can also.
Okay. I come back to the question of the kiosk mode. The person is saying that you can access or bypass it easily. So the input can be easily modified. About the kiosk mode,
Actually, normally the kiosk mode, you don't need any user actually to open it. It just unlock. You have a link actually in order to access it. So no way actually to enter the backend as an internal user. Normally, if you do it right, maybe if you have a specific issue, you can come to the booth to check it together. But
Indeed.
normally, it's a link with that token, but no access to the backend.
Yeah, and on top of it, for instance, here in the demo, I jumped in the kiosk mode, but it automatically disconnects myself to the database when I open the kiosk mode.
That's also why we finished with this kiosk mode, because we are log out, sorry, from the database.
okay, great. So I don't see any more questions. So I thank you again for this great talk.